In the Canadian Arctic, winter temperatures routinely hit -40 degrees Celsius. Half a world away, on the slopes of the Himalayas, oxygen levels at 6,000 meters are so low that most mammalian life struggles to draw a full breath. To the human eye, these places appear as dead wastelands, expanses of rock and ice where nothing could possibly grow. Yet, these regions host bustling ecosystems with biological activity that rivals much warmer climates. Survival at these extremes does not come from an abundance of resources. Instead, it relies on a thin web of highly specialized biological interdependencies, where the actions of one creature create the necessary conditions for the next. This is the concept of a keystone species. Like the central stone in a masonry arch, these organisms hold the weight of their entire environment. If the keystone is removed, the structural integrity of the entire system fails. To understand how life thrives at the edge of the world, we have to trace the connections that link the most powerful apex predators to the hidden foundations of the soil. On the icy shores of northern Canada, the polar bear stands at the top of the food web. It is the sovereign of a territory that spans thousands of desolate kilometers. Its fur is actually transparent and hollow, functioning as a solar trap that channels the sun's heat directly to its black skin. This adaptation allows the bear to endure weeks of solitary hunting, waiting in absolute silence for seals to surface at breathing holes in the ice. In the Himalayas, the snow leopard fills a similar role. It navigates vertical, near-frictionless cliff faces to hunt the blue sheep, using its massive tail to maintain balance on ledges where a single false step would be fatal. By culling these herds, predators like the leopard and the bear prevent herbivores from overpopulating. Without this constant pressure, the grazers would quickly strip the landscape of its sparse, slow-growing vegetation. These predators act as essential regulators. Their presence ensures the survival of the plants, which in turn prevents the entire food web from starving. Further down the food web, the physical mass of large herbivores becomes a tool for environmental engineering. In Canada's northern forests, the wood bison uses its 900-kilogram frame to navigate deep winter drifts. The bison's massive head and shoulder hump act as a biological snowplow, clearing paths to buried grass and creating wallowing pits. These depressions fill with rainwater, forming micropuddles that support insect life and diverse plant species. On the high-altitude deserts of the Tibetan Plateau, the wild yak faces even harsher conditions. It possesses lungs 3 times larger than a common bull, allowing it to extract oxygen from air that would leave most animals paralyzed by exhaustion. As the yak herds move, their grazing patterns and ice-breaking behaviors keep the alpine meadows accessible, preventing any single plant species from dominating the fragile landscape. These massive grazers physically alter the state of the land as they move across it, creating opportunities for smaller creatures to find resources that would otherwise be locked away by ice and snow. While predators and giants get the most attention, the true foundations of these ecosystems are often the smallest or most vulnerable members of the chain. Every year, Pacific salmon swim thousands of kilometers upstream to spawn. Most die of exhaustion immediately after reproducing, but their death serves a vital purpose. Their decaying carcasses release a massive surge of nutrients, mined from the deep ocean, directly into the soil of northern forests. This provides the essential nitrogen and phosphorus that allow the surrounding trees and wildlife to grow. In the high Himalayas, the 200-gram pika survives at 6,000 meters without hibernating. It spends the summer months acting as a farmer, harvesting alpine grasses and drying them on sun-heated rocks to build winter food caches. The tireless labor of the pika and the biological sacrifice of the salmon provide the base calories that support the entire network of life. These species are highly adapted to a very specific set of environmental rules. When the physical baseline of the climate begins to shift, those specializations can become liabilities. As seen in this aerial view of fragmented sea ice, the Arctic hunting grounds are physically disappearing. Without solid platforms to hunt from, the polar bear loses access to its primary food source. In the forests, rising temperatures spark fires that turn vital habitats to ash, as shown by these plumes rising over the Canadian wild. These fires destroy the winter grazing grounds that herds depend on to survive. In the Himalayas, the warming climate is pushing the tree line into higher altitudes. This encroaching forest shrinks the open rocky zones required by the snow leopard and the red panda, trapping them in smaller and smaller pockets of land. In extreme environments, there is very little biological redundancy. If a foundation species like the salmon or the pika is removed, the connections to the levels above them are severed, and the stability of the entire ecosystem is lost. However, targeted human intervention can restore these broken links. In Nepal, the successful recovery of the one-horned rhinoceros shows that we can stabilize these systems if we act to protect the species that shape them. Protecting these frozen extremes is not about any single animal. It is about preserving the invisible threads that hold the roof of our world together.